Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Ask the Skinny Guy Savior. I'm Vince Del Monte, and before we get rolling with the show, I just want to give you guys a quick update. One, you probably noticed we've switched up locations again for the next batch of episodes. In our initial last batch of episodes, I asked you guys if you would prefer to do more of a random approach to selecting the questions off my Facebook fan page, or if you'd like me to lump the questions into categories, so within each episode, we're dealing with a specific topic and we're asking different questions within that same topic. Now, if you went through the comments, you'll notice that it was almost split up the middle, but there was slightly more people preferring to have the questions asked in categories. So we'll knock out the next batch in categories again, and I'm open to going back to the random option in the future. Bottom line is that these are your questions, they're getting answered, and over the next few weeks, what I'm looking forward to doing with you guys is moving these questions into a brand new location in my home. For everybody who's been following along with me, you guys know that Jim Del Monte, we got to come up with a better name for that, I think. I might have you guys help me vote on a better name, but Jim Del Monte is being built as we speak. So right now as we film this, it's October 10th, and sometime in early to mid-November, the mats will be down, the equipment will be down, the dumbbells will be here, everything's gonna be here, and I'm looking forward to shifting out of the office kitchen space and starting to film these from a gym space. So obviously more appropriate for fitness related questions and guys who are looking to get buff. So just keep that in mind. You guys are going to be really, I think you're going to be impressed with this little gym that I've put together. And I've got some surprises that involve you down the road. That'll come all in good time. So let's get started with the show. If you're new to the show, welcome. If you're a returning visitor, thank you for coming back. And we're going to start off with one of my favorite topics, and that's chest training. Very popular topic. Over the last 10 years of doing this, I'd say the three body parts I get the most questions on are chest, biceps, and abs. Those are like the, obviously the beach muscles, right? And we've got 4 questions here. We're going to start off with a question from Michael. And some of these questions are similar to ones I've already answered, so I might start redirecting you back to other episodes as well. But it's always good to hear this stuff over and over and get it ingrained in your brain. So, you know, I've been doing this for 10 years, and there's stuff that I need to hear on a regular basis. So before, I'm kind of going on a rant here, but I think this is important for us to know. A lot of people associate knowing something as just hearing it once. You know, oh, I know that. Well, you really, in my opinion, don't know anything unless you actually have something to show for it. So you may know it, you may know a fact, you may know an insight in theory, like, yeah, I know that I'm supposed to do this when I train my chest, but if you don't actually have something to show for it, you haven't experienced what I call true learning. True learning is what I call behavioral change. So if your behavior hasn't changed, then you haven't learned. And the next step to that is transformation. So if you haven't transformed because your behavior hasn't changed, then you really haven't learned anything. It's still sitting in your brain as an insight or just a piece of information. So this is why we go over this stuff over and over again, so that you get it. Okay, so let's get rolling. First question is from Michael Went, and the next batch of questions are all related to chest training. So Michael Went wants to know, hey, when I work out chest, I get a good pump going and my chest is awesome looking. Mid-upper pec muscle visible. However, when I have no pump, my chest just looks totally flat. What am I doing wrong with developing my chest? Just have to lift heavier? Thanks for all you do, man. Okay, so it sounds like your main problem is that you're not able to build new muscle tissue. Anybody can shove blood into a muscle group. That comes from being able to have a decent mind-muscle connection, doing a modest to higher number of reps, and that's going to help engorge the muscle with blood, which is going to help give it a temporary inflated look. Which is something that which is first off a good indicator of being able to isolate that muscle. The question, what's probably not happening is that your workouts aren't progressive in the big picture. So you're not getting stronger in increments from week to week. But at the same time, remember, building muscle isn't just a function of getting stronger, it's also a function of a lot of mechanical stress, sets that last from 40 to 60 seconds, increasing the volume, increasing the density, reducing the rest periods, increasing the total time under tension within a set. So these are things you'll want to start looking at to take it to the next level. Okay, so the next question goes to Daniel Joseph Mansour, and he wants to know, is there a way I can make my chest wider? I got a lot of thickness already. I would just like more width. Arnold had a great sweep to his chest. Thanks a lot in advance for your response. Okay, one of the advantages I have over a lot of people who train is that I have a background in exercise science. I went to the University of Western Ontario. I studied biomechanics, I studied physics, and we also studied anatomy, and we got to understand the function of a muscle. So what most people don't understand is that when you're training a chest, what is its primary function? The pecs are a big internal rotator of the humerus. So this is the primary function of your chest. Internal rotation, external rotation. So when we're training our pecs, we need to make sure you have exercises that incorporate this movement. You probably see a lot of guys doing stuff like this with their, with the cables. Complete waste of time. You also see guys doing all sorts of stuff like this with the cables. Again, almost a complete waste of time. I'll put a link below that will link you to some videos that will teach you how to recruit your pecs properly, and to show you what I mean by making the pec use its primary function of being an internal rotator of the humerus. So if you don't have this, you're not going to use your pecs properly, and you're not going to be able to build it wider. So the next question is from Craig. Craig wants to know, I've been working out for a few months and noticed my left pec is bigger than my right by quite a bit. Is there a way to equal them out? Okay, so Craig, we mentioned this in a previous episode that it's almost not normal to have balances from pec to pec visually. Virtually everybody, if you look at somebody's body long enough and zoom in to every body part, you'll notice that virtually no one is symmetrical perfectly. It's normal to be asymmetrical to a degree. Just recently, I got back from Las Vegas, and I had the amazing opportunity to go to City Athletic, a gym the day after the Olympia, where some of the top pro bodybuilders were. Branch Warren was there, Phil Heath was there, Evan Central Panny, my coach Ben Pikowski, Tony Freeman, and I got to talk with some of these guys, and one of the overlapping things that came up over and over and over are three words, mind, muscle, connection. So a lot of this minimizing imbalances is going to come from just continuing to stick with the weight training and developing that mind-muscle connection and learning how to contract that right pec just as hard as you contract that left pec. So keep at it and really focus on developing that. Okay, last question goes to Jack Long. Jack Long says, hey Vince, I was wondering what exercises would be best to build a thick and a wide chest. Also, how many times a week should I train my chest with the exercises for optimal gains? All right, it's really simple. You simply need a variety of exercises that target the muscle from multiple angles. So what I mentioned earlier was the pecs are a big internal rotator. So when you're doing your flies, to make your pecs bigger and thicker from a fly angle, we want to simulate this motion. So when you're doing your flies, we want to make sure we're internally rotating at the bottom. Not this crap. You see, the stuff has absolutely very little stimulus on your chest. When you're doing your presses, we want to make sure your elbows are coming across your body. When you're pressing, we want to make sure we're shoving our back into the pad. So a lot of people, when they press, they think about what's in their hand and they think, well, I got to get the weights up. Instead, think about when you're lying on your back, think about shoving your back into the fixed object, and you'll find you recruit your pecs much harder. When you're lowering the bar, when you're doing your barbell presses, we want to think about creating tension by shoving inwards. Again, I'm going to post 2 links for you below to watch some videos that actually demonstrate this. But really, it's not the exercises you're doing, it's how you're performing them. So what it sounds like here, guys, from the theme of questions we're getting is a lot of you guys don't have any background in biomechanics or physics. You don't understand the anatomical function of the muscle. So you go to the gym and you're like, I got to do bench press. So you're just thinking about pushing, but you're not actually thinking about what do I need to do to actually create enough tension on this muscle so that it says, holy cow, I need to grow. One of the best programs I can recommend to you guys, if you haven't picked it up yet, is Ben Peckowski's MI40 muscle building workout. Within this workout, it includes over 7 hours of instructional footage. And the instructional footage is absolutely going to blow your mind. It's not like anything you've ever seen anywhere else on YouTube or any websites or magazines, because this is all completely based on biomechanics and physics. That's what exercise is. If you don't have an understanding of this, then there's no way you're going to be able to develop the mind-muscle connection. So the reason we make these DVDs is so that you can get inside our head. You can see what we're thinking about while we're training. What am I thinking about when I'm pressing the weights up? What am I thinking about when I'm doing this exercise or this exercise? And we explain it based on the anatomical function of the muscle. This stuff will completely change the way your body looks. And if you don't believe me, just ask people below who have followed MI40 what they think of the instructional videos and how dramatically they changed their physique and how fast they changed their physique because they started thinking about the right things when they went to the gym. Most people go to the gym and they're weightlifters. They just move weights. You'll never build muscle being a weightlifter. You need to become a bodybuilder. You have to learn how to build your body, and that starts with understanding proper anatomical function of every muscle group. And again, this is stuff that I'm still learning. After 10 years, after a university degree, after taking tons of courses, I'm still learning how to optimize the function of a muscle group. And it's something that you'll never arrive at. You'll always be learning. You'll always be learning. And when I was, again, just to quickly mention this again, when I was in Las Vegas and I was talking to some of these pro bodybuilders, these are the best bodybuilders in the world. I'm watching Tony Freeman talk with Ben Peckowski, and these guys are sharing tips with each other and they're sharing ideas of how to do things differently. Even these guys who are the pinnacle of their game, the best in the world, they're still learning. They're still learning from each other. So, my motto is always be learning, and obviously that's why you're here, so pat yourself on the back. This episode went a little extra long. I like to do that every once in a while, and we'll wrap her up. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button above. If you found this video helpful, like it up, and I also put a link down there below to Ben's MI40 website, so you can read more about it, and you can hook yourself up with those instructional videos, which will absolutely change the way you lift forever. See you guys next time.